what's going on, guys? Pete here with MixBetterNow.com, coming to you with a brand new Mix Critique Monday. It is June the 5th, 2017. Didn't get one up last week because of Labor Day here in the States. We have a lovely Monday off on a holiday, so I was out of the studio all weekend. But we're back this week, okay? 4 mixes on deck, as always. We have Color Me Red from the band Diesel 13. That's mixed by Hope. And then we have Slipping Through My Hands by Ricky Riley, mixed by RYAN DOWDALL. We have Stardust by The Quakes, mixed by TK. And last but not least, we have Finessin' by Mukruski, mixed by SKNEE G. So a nice little variety, bunch of different types of tunes that keep things interesting. If you're new to Mix Critique Monday, I just want to say welcome. What Mix Critique Monday is it is a platform for you to get a free mix critique, all right? Another set of ears on your work. Everything I say on here is positive, all right? It's all constructive criticism. Nothing is negative. I don't have time for that in my life, and hopefully you guys don't either. So if I do say something about your mix or somebody else's mix, it is only with the best intentions in mind. I know how it's difficult to sort of get perspective on things when you're in the middle of a project. So I am glad to be able to help. And, that's what we do here. So the first one up is, like I said, is a track Color Me Red. I think this is, let me just zoom in a little bit here. Now, I think this is a set of multi-tracks from the Cambridge.com, Mike Senior's site. If I'm not mistaken, but it's a cool tune, and Hope usually kills these mixes, so we're going to lead it off with this one. And one thing that I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to do here is normally I go ahead and I will sort of level match all of the mixes in terms of volume, RMS, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not going to do that here today, so I've left them all at 0. I usually throw the mix tool or the gain tool, whatever you want to call it, and I'll usually gain it down a little bit, but I'm not going to do that because I noticed that some of these were they looked a little on the loud side, and in the event that they are clipping or they're too loud, I want to let you know that, because some people send these to me unmixed and then unmastered, and then some people send them in mastered. So it's important to know if your stuff is too loud. I'm a big advocate and a big proponent of dynamic range. I think we all need that, right? There is a volume knob on your stereo for a reason, so that's kind of what I'm into. Anyway, let's kick this off here with Color Me Red by the band Diesel 13, and this is mixed by Hope. Here we go. All right, so just kind of case in point right now, I'm not seeing it clip on the screen here, but it's clipping my converters on my interface. So they're all lit up red, just to let you guys know. Now, I want to touch on this for a minute because I know there's sort of a school of thought and an argument. I've heard some people say, some people who I trust and respect, that if the clipping is not audible, then it doesn't really matter. And that's sort of the whole point of audio, is if it sounds good, it is good. So that's one school of thought. And then the other school of thought is that if it is clipping something, the DAW or clipping the converters, then that's signaling that something is not gain staged properly and is not sort of under control properly. So it's kind of hard how to advise on this, because I always make sure that I leave plenty of headroom in my stuff. Now, if I do see it clipping on here, I will, I might make a note of it or something like that. But I also don't want to blow you guys out on the, for the audio between my vocal and the music. I've had some comments on that before. So what I am going to do is I will turn the mix tool on, and I'll pull it down a little bit, but I'll bypass this in and out as we're listening. That way we can sort of see where it's at, and I feel like that would solve both situations. What I'm going to do, though, is I'll put this to the K14 system, because in that way, if I get everything peaking at 0 or averaging at 0 on the K14, then it's at a good level for me.
Meet me at the hollow at the edge of town, where I took your sister and I laid her down. Give hit me this fear? Well, you hit me hard and whispered in my ear. Leave town, no sound, leave no tread, but your trails and color them red. I feel like I'm in heaven when my thoughts are in flame. Only lucky sevens in this house of pain. Give it up, let me in and give me a roar. Meet you at the bottom at the wild-eyed sinner's bowl. So here, I can't stand the taste, and everything's the same, and you just turn away. And I see the writing on the wall, and no one sees me fall, and you just think I'm bored of this bad. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. So meet me at the hollow, you can color me red. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. So meet me at the hollow, you can color me red.
Yeah. Great job, Hope. Really don't have anything to say about that. I thought it sounded fantastic. If I was being really picky, I would probably have to say maybe a little bit more snap, a little bit more brightness on the snare. Maybe a little bit more reverb on the snare too. Just some more attack, a little more crack on the snare. I think that would cut very nicely. But like, look, I say this all the time. If I don't hear something, I'm not just going to say things just to say things. So I thought that sounded great. Pat yourself on the back for that one. That was a really good job. And I think it sounds fantastic. It's a great example of a great mix because you can hear everything very well. I heard a little bit of automation going on where things were coming in and out. Things got exciting. They stayed exciting the whole time. And, it was just well done. Nothing was over or under EQ'd or overcooked with compression or just a really good job. And I think that kind of harkens back to the point where if you record something really well, let's even back that up. The three most important things, I say this all the time. Number one is how good is the song? I'd rather listen to crappy demos of amazing songs by some of my favorite bands that were like literally recorded, you could take your iPhone and record something into your iPhone. Or if you have like, I don't know if, depending on your age out there, but showing my age, back in the day, when I was a kid, I used to record to like a one of those tape recorders that were like, you would carry it around with you and you could listen to it and you could record into it. I've heard stuff on there, and the point is, if the song is great, people are going to want to listen to it. So, good song. Number two is how well is that song played and performed by the musicians. Number three is how well is that captured. And I think that's where this song shines. I've heard this before. It's been on here and in other places. So I've heard these multi-tracks before. And if you get good multi-tracks, if you record something very well, and if you have a good session, you're going to get a good mix out of it. It mixes itself. It's really the stuff that's done poorly, recorded poorly, or where there are corners cut, like, oh, I'm just going to play the first verse and then I'm going to copy and paste it into everything, or I'm going to play one line of something and, poor miking techniques, incorrect microphone choice, phase issues. If you have these things happening, in a mix, it's going to show. And here, I think it's a great example of doing the right things and in turn, ending up with a really good mix. So really well done, Hope. Love it. Keep up the great work. I'm just going to get this out of here real quick. I'm going to turn these guys off because I forgot to do that before. And next up, we have Slipping Through My Hands by Ricky Riley. And this is mixed by RYAN DOWDALL. I hope I'm saying that correctly, Ryan. RYAN DOWDALL. Dowdall. I'm so bad with saying names, and it's okay though, because my last name's awful. My last name is just insane, and nobody says it right anyway, so it's okay. This one is another cool tune, so we're just gonna get to it, and here we go.
The morning came roaring, and I fought it like a fool.
All right, so I can already tell this is really loud. My guess is this is probably going to clip out. The only thing with the last tune, my converters were clipping a little, so Hope, just so you know, my converters were clipping, but it wasn't clipping in the DAW, so take that for what you want. Listen, you guys, if you want to throw limiters on stuff and make stuff as loud as you want, you're more than welcome to do that. But at some point, that is gonna come and bite you if things are too loud or if they're clipping badly. And my point is, I want to help you guys with this, and I want you to sort of understand. I highly advocate, if you guys are interested in mastering, because I'm not like a mastering expert, I'm not a mastering guru. I can do what I call faux mastering. I can definitely make stuff radio ready, volume-wise and tonally, but you guys should all go check out my buddy Ian Shepard at productionadvice.co.uk. He's an incredible mastering engineer. He's also a music producer and just a really talented guy. Please go check him out. His blog and his YouTube channel, and he's got a bunch of really amazing premium courses for sale over there, and they're just amazing. And I've learned a lot from him. He's a really smart guy and very talented. So check him out. But anyway, let's keep going here. I'm gonna keep an eye on the volume. Like I said, I don't want to blow you guys out, but I just want to see. Maybe I'll flip it in when we get to these louder parts here to see how loud it really gets.
I know you're stubborn and you're spiteful, but don't make me spell it out for you. You let the rush get rusted, but I got rusted too. I should've known better than to trust it, better than to trust you. And I had your heart in the garden, locking lips like little kids. And I know I'm stubborn, but I was shaking, just like anyone else would have been. But I let that rush get rusted, and it is what it is, what it is. I should've known better than to trust it, better than to trust it. 'Cause I can feel you slipping through my head. Yeah, I can feel you slipping through my hand. If only I had listened, or been a better man, I wouldn't feel you slipping through my head. And I thought,
All right, so just so you know, my converters are clipping here. I wonder if let's see. They changed the new interface here. This is Studio One 3.5. They just did a bunch of updates, which I love. Big props to PreSonus. Can't say enough good things about that company and this DAW. But they changed a lot of the metering up here, which is awesome. It's a lot more accurate now, and just want to make sure everything's good.
it would stop.
Let's go back to the hook.
And I've been a better man. I wouldn't feel you slipping through my head. And I thought it
One more time.
and I've been a better man. I wouldn't feel you slipping.
Yeah, so this is clipping. It sounded like it was clipping to me. Wasn't lighting up the light here in the session, but on my on the Insight meter, You could see it's peaking over unity. So very simple, right? It's so far the mix sounds great. I hate as I as I get a huge plosive there. This thing's supposed to have a pop filter in it, and I really don't think it does because you know what? Maybe if I roll the bottom off, let's try that. Plup, plup, plup. It's still doing it a little bit. I'm going to have to go back to my RE20. Those are just the best for doing stuff like this. So forgive me for that. But the point is that we're just getting, you know, I hate to see good mixes get ruined by, you know, bad mastering or, you know, sort of driving stuff too loud. And this mix sounds great so far, Ryan. So but the good news is it's a really easy scenario. Like, so if you went ahead and did this, hopefully you didn't send this out to a mastering engineer who did this. You can just pull it back and, you know, pull your levels down. Always use metering when you're mastering. Different kinds of metering. I will typically use like 3 or 4 different types of meters because they're all just a little bit different based upon the algorithm that they're using. So the best thing I could advise would be to learn one meter and to really know what that is and where it's at, what it's reading in terms of RMS and peak level. And I find that the Insight to be the most accurate. Now, the only downside is it's not cheap, you know, in comparison to some other stuff. So, like I said, if you have a meter and it shows RMS and peak level, just learn that, you know, listen to other types of music on there. You know, pull up some of your favorite, you know, MP3s or something in iTunes, see where it's at level wise. And one thing that I think you'll notice in terms of loud music is that what these guys are really good at, these good mastering engineers, is you'll hear stuff super loud, but you won't see any clipping occurring on your metering or on your converters. And for me, that is, you know, that's the sign of a mastering engineer worth their salt. So I'll turn this back down now, but just to give you the heads up, Ryan, clipping a little bit, take care of it, back your levels down a little bit, use a meter, make sure all your meters are not clipping, make sure your DAW's not clipping, your converters aren't clipping, because so far your mix is great, and I just hate to see stuff happen like that. So we'll turn this back on, and let's keep listening. Okay, so for me, the guitar solo here is a little bit buried. It's a little bit muddy. You know, right away as a guitar guy, I could tell it's a Strat, probably on position 4, maybe on position 2 on the toggle on that in between, that phasey, quacky thing, which is cool. And I like that. But, you know, unfortunately, it's a little buried here. I say this probably every week, is that if there's a vocal in the song, it's the most important element in a song, in a mix. If there's no lead, if there's no vocal and it's an instrumental, then the instrument playing the lead part then becomes the most important thing. So during a guitar solo, you need to make that guitar solo like the vocal, right? You need to treat it like a vocal where it's super important. You need to make it audible, just like with a vocalist listening to lyrics. Can you hear the lyrics? You know, all that kind of stuff. So It's a little bit muddy. You know, you could go a couple different ways here. It might just need a little bit more volume. Sometimes it's as simple as pushing up more volume in the context of the mix. Sometimes you might need to carve a little bit of the mud out, a little bit of that whatever's sort of holding it back. When I EQ guitars in context with everything, rarely do I do it in solo, unless I hear a problem. I will typically go in. I'll turn the volume of the solo up quite a bit, and then I'll just start EQing because I really want to hear how it interacts with the rest of the song. Now, some of you out there might be like, well, dude, of course, you're supposed to, you're supposed to mix stuff in context with everything else. And absolutely, you definitely are. But some things you can get away with mixing in solo, especially if you're doing subtractive things like, maybe a kick drum or a snare drum or something that just has a lot of low end buildup. And, so my point is that in the context of a mix like this, a rock tune where there's a lot of stuff going on, we often don't need low end. You could maybe high pass a guitar to like 300 hertz sometimes because you don't need all of that low end stuff. And what's interesting about guitars is if you're looking at a frequency spectrum, so like, for in here, for example, or if we look at, the Pro Q2 has a really good one as well, is that a lot of the times, the only stuff happening with the guitar will be like between here and here, right? So if I just match the curve, I think it's a 24. Yeah. So there's really not a lot going on in the lows with guitars, and there's really not a lot going on up very high. It's a much more limited EQ frequency range than, for example, a drum kit or a piano or even a vocal. So it's a very mid-range heavy instrument. So I think that's where a lot of guitars shine, is when the mid-range is done well. You clean up the bottom doing stuff like this, or maybe pulling out a little bit of the lows and just focusing in on, your 1K, 2K, even 800, 900, just depending on where you're at, what guitar you're using, all that kind of stuff. But so far, that's really the only thing that I'm hearing that, that for me is just a little, could use a little bit of work. But so far, it sounds great. And let's keep listening to this mix. See right there, it's getting a little bit better because the solo, the guitar player is going a little bit higher on the neck. If you listen to the beginning of it, right there, obviously it's a little bit lower down the neck. So you might have to automate the EQ a little bit and automate the volume, but nonetheless, I think that would really help out the solo. I would fade the ending out a bit sooner, just because you're hearing the buzz from the single coil guitars there. Hear that? Which sometimes maybe that's kind of the rawness that you might want, but I feel like on a more polished kind of pop rock tune like this, you know, it might be a little bit better just do like a quicker fade out at the end there. But the only other thing that I heard that was a little, you know, could be tweaked, and I'm being picky because this is a great mix. This is two amazing mixes in a row. Is the kick might be a little bit loud. I like to reference the mix in mono. I'll sum down to mono. I'm sure you guys have heard that before. Mix in mono. Check your mixes in mono. And I'm definitely an advocate of that. I'm not an advocate of only mixing in mono. I've heard some people kind of argue that notion, but I mean, most music is listened to in stereo. So, but check it out. If we listen to the kick here. So I'm going to put it in mono and listen to how much louder the kick gets. I think mono is a good reference point in terms of how loud certain low-end instruments can get, like bass and kick. So I will typically use that. I love in Studio One here how you can just flick this button right here. I think in the mix window you can also do that, but since we're in the mastering suite, it's a little different. But anyway, listen to what happens when I flick it in the mono. So, I mean, I could come down like a dB or two. I'm being real picky, though. I really think you did a great job here, Ryan. Killer mix, killer tune. Again, I could tell this was more than likely recorded really well. When you get good sessions, when they're recorded well and they're good tunes, songs get way easy to mix, guys. That's what's up. You know, but that's part of the whole thing that makes it difficult. You know, is learning how to record well is a whole thing, you know, and then figuring out how to mix those good recordings, you know, or even fix some poor recordings that are sort of unable to go back and record. These are all, you know, all skills that, you know, we all work hard at to try and improve our, you know, our understanding of these things. So, yeah, killer job. I thought it was great. Again, the only thing is it was clipping out. So just go ahead, and if you can remedy that, Ryan, pull that down a little bit because it's such a solid mix. You know, I hate seeing stuff kind of suffer from that. And I had pulled the volume down to make sure that we weren't hearing that or we weren't experiencing that. So really good job, though. Thank you so much for that. That was Ryan Dowdall, Slipping Through My Hands by Ricky Riley. Awesome stuff. Next up, we have Stardust by the Quakes, mixed by TK. Let's get this guy lined up. Man, you guys are killing it this week, huh? Really good mixes. And that makes me happy. You know, I love hearing you guys do well. I know the last Mix Critique Monday I did was like, you know, I was a little rough on a few of you, you know, Liam and you know, a few others, but like I said, I say all this stuff because I want you guys to hear these things and I want you guys to improve. You know, the inverse of that is when you do good work, I want you to know that you're doing good work so you can get that confidence, feel that confidence, and know that what you're doing is sounding really good. So, you know, big props on that. Okay. Stardust by the Quakes. TK mixed this and it goes like this.
Stop what you're doing. Are we caught up in all this confusion? I want to be moving into something more like a union. Feel the love, feel the love. Bring your love into real in love. Share your love, dream enough in what we do. 'Cause it's stardust. Stardust is where we come from. It's true. Stardust. Stardust is where it's all from.
Okay, very cool tune so far. That hi-hat that just came in, that's a bit loud for me, and it's a little bit sizzly and a little bit crispy. So you can definitely pull the volume of that down. I would also try for hi-hats or harsh cymbals. Some things that I like to use are multiband compressors or de-essers. Okay, all a de-esser is, it's a compressor that compresses a specific frequency or between two specific frequency points. So sometimes I'll de-ess harsh cymbals, sometimes I will use a multiband compressor. They're pretty much the same thing, right? Multiband compression, I really want to start doing some tutorials on multiband compression, because I think it's mysterious to a lot of people who don't understand it. It's not, it shouldn't be though. Like, it looks more scary than it is. But if you don't know how to use a multiband compressor, you will jack your mix up. And I know, because I used to do that. I used to think, oh man, I'm going to multiband compress stuff because that's what you're supposed to do, or because I see so-and-so doing that. And unless you really know how to use a multiband compressor, just stay away from the multiband until you really grasp what it's all about. But I want to break it down like really simply for you guys. You know, doing like a Mix 101 video in that series of the very fundamentals of what a multiband compressor is, what it does, and how you would use it. So that being said, that hat can totally come down. And also the multiband compressor or the de-esser will make that sound less harsh and less crispy. The only other thing that I'm hearing is I like your levels. Your levels are great here, TK. Really, really good. I'm just hearing a little bit of low end buildup. I want to keep listening just to make sure that what I'm hearing, but I'll address it in like a minute or two.
Like when we used to. Love is a treasure, binding us like glue. Celestial and different, made from me and you. Feeling love, feeling love. Bring your love into. Feeling love, share your love. Dreaming of is what we do.
Okay, so the main synth part there, I don't, you gotta forgive me, I'm not like a huge EDM guy. Like, I'm not real hip on synths in terms of like, oh, that's a Juno or that's an ARP. Well, I know ARPs are supposed to arpeggiate things, I think, but you know, that's a Juno or that's a, I don't know, whatever. The main synth part there, you know, the da da da. Yeah, the da 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 da. For me, that's a little bit on the muddy side, a little bit bassy, and a little bit loud. So I think by doing some subtractive stuff, getting rid of, you know, some of the lower end there, it'll clean it up. I know it's sort of a tightrope to walk there, because it's like you want it to sound big and, you know, you want it to have the bottom end, but at the same time you don't want it to sound rumbly and you don't want it to sound muddy. But that's okay. That's where I would definitely do a little bit of surgical EQ with something subtractive. So like, for example, if I was able to just have, you know, solo that up, or to be able to EQ that in the context of everything. First thing I would do is just get my bottom tight by doing a little bit of high passing. We're removing, you know, rumbly, subby frequencies that we're not going to hear, 20, 30, stuff like that. It's going to tighten up the bottom. I know it sounds counterintuitive. By removing low end, it's going to sound bigger and, you know, punchier, but it sort of will. And then what I would do is I would sort of just look for some offensive, muddy frequencies with that synth and pull them out by using, you know, maybe a tighter bell. So instead of doing something, you know, real wide and gentle, I would just get a little bit surgical with it. That way you're not losing the good low end, the good bottom on that, right? But instead you're getting rid of some of the stuff that's just sort of kind of choking it up a little bit. So right there, I'm just high passing to about 40. Could probably even do like 35 to get away with it, but because I'm seeing that there's a fundamental down here around 60, so I don't want to go much past that. So we could look for let's try like 300, maybe 200. See, that sounds pretty cool. Taking out some of that 200. It's a very common area to get buildup in, okay? So I'm not doing a very wide cut, you know, like not something like this. We can get a little surgical, take some of that energy out of the out of that sound. Now, it'll sound even better on the synth because you're going to have solo access to it as opposed to me doing it on the mix bus here. But, you know, look around 200, look around 300, and, you know, take a little bit of it out, see what sounds good to you. And, you know, just by doing this, I'm hearing it just kind of open up a little bit. We're not losing any of that bottom. You know, you could still go ahead and get a little judicious around like 60 with the fundamental. So see how I kind of have this tilt style EQ? Check this out. Something you could even do. I didn't want to delete that. I don't know what just happened. Did I delete the whole thing? Oh, man. Hang on one sec, guys. I gotta go pull that out. I just deleted the whole track. All right, sorry about that, guys. Like I said, they made some new updates here to Studio One, so I thought I was hitting delete on the Pro Q2, but apparently I was deleting the whole track. So, sorry about that. What I'd like to do, or what I was trying to do, is let's just click on it off the plugin. I wanted to show you guys the tilt option. Now, this is in a lot of stock EQs. I believe it's in the stock EQ in Studio One. I think you can do this in Logic. Not sure about Pro Tools. Let's be honest, the stock stuff in Pro Tools isn't really that good. I didn't say that, but what? So you could kind of just get a curve going here in the Pro Q2. I'm pretty sure a lot of, like I said, even third-party EQs will do this. And then we can choose the tilt shelf here. So instead of boosting up the top end, what we can do is sort of go like this. So you can technically see the shape of this. So if you wanted to cut an area like this out and then sort of add a little bit of a boost to that lower part, like I was talking about, to kind of kick up the fundamental, but then kind of get rid of some of the mud, it's totally possible. Just showing you that as an option. And let's get this out of here. But just so I don't mess anything else up. But yeah, so 200, 300, I would kind of check those areas out, and you know, you should be good, especially since it'll be on the track, you know, not in the context of the mix with, you know, on the mix bus. Let's just want to mention that I think the acoustic guitars in that part sound amazing, like super, super good. Check it out again, guys, just so you can know. These are great sounding acoustic guitars, you know, mix-wise, record. Just very appropriate for this song. You know, they sit so well right there. The only thing is, for this drop coming back in, I'd love to hear it just like a little bit bigger. So maybe automate it to kind of just hit a little harder. you could throw it up a few dB on a fader and then bring it back. You could automate a little more stereo widening or something there. You could even put like some saturation or some distortion on there, not full on distortion, but crunching it up a little bit, just like you might do to a bass or a vocal to get it to poke out front of a mix, to make the drop a little bit bigger there. Just my opinion, of course. Let's Awesome. Man, those acoustics sound so good. Killer. TK, killing it. 3 really amazing, really good mixes in a row. This is like gangbusters today. All right. So one thing I was hearing there towards the end, and this is definitely pertinent to like a more mix bus scenario, but hearing a little bit of buildup around 400. It's just very common for any music, any genre, is that unless you're actively EQing on your 2 bus while you're mixing, it's sort of hard to pick out, and unless you're referencing your mix against another reference track, it can be hard to hear. But it can be 400, 500, 450, sort of just in these low mids here. I feel like it cleaned up a whole lot when I took this out. Listen to what happens when I bypass it. I'll also solo this band, and I tightened up the bottom here to about 30, 35 hertz. If I boost that, you'll really hear a lot of that, sort of like that muffly buildup like this, and it's just kind of like lifting a blanket. All right, so I'll pull it. So, a little bit more food for thought there, TK. But I really have a feeling that a lot of that muddiness, that 200, the 300, even the 400 here, I would guess is from that main synth part. So, if you handle that in, go back and sort of thin it out a little bit and use your EQ when you're mixing, you're very, very close to being exactly where you need to be. Again, huge props on the acoustic guitar part. Thought it sounded great. Take care of a little bit of that brightness on that hat too. Okay. You're there, man. It sounded really, really good. So thank you for that, TK. That was Stardust by the Quakes. Very cool tune. Last up here, and again, guys, sorry that I accidentally deleted that. I don't know. I thought usually in the Pro Q2 you can highlight it and hit delete, but I guess it deleted the track on here. So last up here we have another banger from my man SKNEE G, killing it as always. This is Finessin', and I hope I'm saying the band right. Mookruski, Mookruski, Mookruski. They're a Polish hip hop group from Wisconsin. No, I'm kidding. This is a sweet song. Finessin', and SKNEE always does good stuff, so I'm excited to hear this. Let's check it out. Let me just click over to here. In the older version of Studio One, you could just click on the song, like on the and it would line it up. But now you have to click over here, which is fine. Just working it out, guys. It's all okay.
The icons. Turn that shit up.
I be straight finessing. What down?
Steve-O Beats.
Yes. I be straight finessing. I'm finessing. I be straight finessing. I'm finessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. I be straight finessing. I'm finessing. I be straight finessing. I'm finessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. This would be a blessing.
Okay. The kick is completely blowing out my converters, and we're clipping up top here, just so you know. I would pull it down, and, you can obviously tell where the kicks are based upon the waveform. All these big, huge peaks are definitely going to be the kick. I will pull it down, gain-wise, to sort of take care of that. But it does sound a little crunchy to me on the kick. So I don't know if that's something that you're going for, Skinny, or if that's like, part of the clipping. Loudness has been a little bit of a theme today. So, and I know it's hard too, because it's like if you're mixing, hip hop for clients, they always, the genre calls for loudness. Like EDM calls for loudness, metal calls for loudness. It's sometimes hard to escape based upon what style of music that you're working in. But, if stuff can audibly clip, it doesn't serve anyone. So, which is weird too, because it's not like super loud RMS wise, but it's a big kick. So, there's a couple ways you can handle that: compress and limit the kick quite aggressively in the mix. But just be aware of that when you maybe go back and make some mix tweaks or write some mix notes.
I be straight finesse. I be flex. I'm off in a mix, and it bitch getting the best. Hold up the West end, where I just be at when I be surfing. Hold up, I'm swerving. Nigga be talking, I'm still in the bird. You did not heard me. I'm in the thing, say you just fear me. I'm in the thing, bitch, don't give a damn. Hear shit clearly. I be just getting the money, niggas that just feel me, cause really I'm boom, man. Don't give a damn about niggas just talking the shit, I be shooting they move. Hold up, let me just get to the paper. These niggas be talking like really they want the business. Don't give a damn about a hater, you running your mouth, a nigga can get the business. I be just all about the mix, hold up, nigga, I'm all about the grind, hold up. Hey, you be talking that shit, hold up, why you be wasting my time? I'm finessing, I be straight finessing, I'm finessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. I be straight finessing, I'm finessing. I be straight finessing, I'm finessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. I got the 2 for 3. You could just chill, you could just roll with a G. Come and just kiss on the chain. I'm in the thing, hold up, I'm still with a key. Now I'm just getting the money up. Now you just feeling me, man, cause I came with a brick. Don't give a damn, I'm in the city, I'm booming. Hold up, I'm still on the lick. Man, he was just talking this shit down, like he just really just in it. I don't give a damn about it like Hogan's, he running him out, but he really can get it. Man, I'ma just let you know what it's to be, and the snakes all up in my grass. Hey, don't give a damn about stupid that nigga, cause really they shot in her ass. Hey, I be in here to get money. Nigga know that I be pacing and pacing. Don't give a damn, this time I feel I be wasting. Trying to get up the cheddar. Nigga, I gotta get better. Finessing these niggas and hoes. Hell, I just feel like I'm straight finessing. I'm finessing. I be straight finessing. I'm finessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. I be straight finessing. I'm finessing. I be straight finessing. I'm finessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing. This would be a blessing, a hood blessing.
Cool. I dig that outro there. Very, very cool. Yeah, that was, man, Skinny, you always, I'm always really impressed with how well you mix your vocals. As somebody who, does quite a bit of mixing in hip hop, I have quite a few repeat clients that I work with, who are MCs. Getting vocals right in hip hop is paramount, right? You could argue it's the bass and the kick, or someone else could argue that, but I would say it's the vocal. If you don't get the vocal right, it just doesn't really matter. So you always do a great job, man. And another thing too is it's like sibilance is tough in hip hop because a lot of MCs can rap really aggressively, get up on the mic super close, and depending on what microphone you use, you can get sibilant stuff. And then certain people have sibilant voices, and that could be a tough thing to deal with. But I never find that with your stuff. It's always really good, and it's definitely a testament to the way that you mix your songs. So really good job. I'm totally blown away by all four of you guys today, like killing it. Amazing job from everyone. I can't really say a bad thing. There was nothing on here that was like overtly terrible, which is good, and that gets me so pumped up because I love to see you guys do well, and I love to hear that, and I want you guys to be confident. Confidence is a big part of mixing. We can all go through these, peaks and valleys with being confident and sort of churning out good work on a consistent basis. So please, guys, keep up the great work. Big fan of all four of these tunes. So big thanks to We Had Hope, who mixed Color Me Red by Diesel 13. Great job. We had RYAN DOWDALL, Slipping Through My Hands by Ricky Rowley, another amazing mix. Then we heard Stardust by The Quakes. That was TK who mixed that. And then we just heard SKNEE G mixing Finessin' by Mukruski. So 4 awesome mixes. You guys sure made my job easy this week. And I love that. So, really great job. And please keep up the good work. All right. So as always, guys, I just want to say thank you for submitting, really, really excellent work this week. Thank you all for your time. Just want to say I appreciate all you guys watching. If any of you guys haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, or you haven't, thrown a like here or there on a couple videos and you enjoyed that, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, make sure you go hop on my email list, mixbetternow.com. There's a link in the show notes. And when you sign up on my email list, I will send you my free audio swag bag, which is full of all kinds of goodies. Like you get free multi-track sessions that you can use for practice. You can use in your portfolios to get client work and stuff. I got free mix templates. What else do I have? Free drum samples, my top 20 free plugin list with links to go download them, free Bricasti reverb impulse responses, and a couple other goodies. When you're on the email list, you'll obviously know about whenever I put content out, but I also do a lot of, premium stuff for my email list, for example, maybe if I update my mix templates like I've just done, I've sent some new templates out to my email list. So if you're on there, you're going to get all the Buku stuff, and you're going to kind of know first about everything that happens. Plus, you're going to get your awesome swag bag. And, it's just it's a cool place to be. So anyway, my name is Pete with mixbetternow.com. Like I said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you all have an awesome day, and I will catch you next time.